When you type create express entry profile, you will come to this website. Remember, this is the government website, canada.ca. And once you click here, you will come to this page, create an express entry profile. So here, once you come down, sign into your secure account. Once you click here, this is the IRCC secure account page. Come down and you'll have to create a account. In case you don't have, this is where you'll click register for account. And then you come to this page. Once you click, you have two options. One is to create GC key username and password. You can register here when you don't have GC key username password. The other option is if you are within Canada and you have a Canadian bank account or a credit union, you can use that credential to log in. So if you are from outside, then you have no choice but to go for option one. And how to sign in, I have made a separate video. It will take up time, so I'll leave the reference link. You can see that video on how to create GC key. That should take care. And then we come to the sign in page where we enter the username and password, then do the sign in. So this is the welcome page, continue, and then you have to choose method of two-factor authentication. So you have these three options. You can choose any one. Once you select, come down, accept, and then you can enter in this case, I'm showing email address. So I will enter the email address. Continue, enter the code that has been sent to your email ID or mobile or whatever option you have chosen, and then continue. Then you will have to record this code somewhere and keep it accessible to you. One way to do is to use the snipping tool. Just click on new and then snip it and save it. Remember that these codes are case sensitive. So if you have done snip and save, that should take care. And once you confirm, yes, I have securely recorded and stored these codes, continue. Then you will get this message that the setup is complete. Continue on this terms and condition page, come down, I accept, and then here you create the account with your given name, last name, email address, preferred language as English or French, whatever you choose. Make sure the name matches with your valid passport and make no mistake. Once this is done, continue. On this page, create your security question. You have 4 different questions to which you will create your own answer. Again, whatever you create, make sure you remember that, keep that saved somewhere. Page, right now you see there is no application. So once you come down here, in case you have any application, it will show up here. Continue. Since we don't have any application, apply to come to Canada. Once you click here, then once you come down here, you see here express entry. Once you click here, this is the eligibility checking section where you go and you make a selection to the province. If you know which province you want to select, well and good. If not, you are just like me. When I was starting the express entry profile, I did not know which province to go, what to do. So I chose Ontario, and I'll show you, even if you select and you find ineligibility, you can come and delete your profile and then start with another province to check if you are eligible. So to do that, for example, let me start again. Now that we have selected express entry, remember, let me start again. So once I clicked online service, you see here, once we come down here, it shows that the application has been created. So 60 days is left. Now, once I'm going through the entire process and I find that I'm ineligible for a particular province, I will attempt and see if I'm eligible for any other province. It does not cost any money. You're just coming and checking for other province if you're eligible. Now, when I came on express entry, it was simple, straightforward, and once you had the score, you would know whether you're making it or not, because you would know what the competition is and what your score is. And if you were matching that score or you were above that competitive score, you surely would get the invitation to, and that's what happened in my case. Now, there are many dynamics in place, so you will get to know as we continue with the video. Now, let me continue with the profile. Once we click here, come here. So select Ontario. I'm selecting Ontario and then going to the next. Here, you need to have a language proficiency test result with you. Language testing link I will leave in the description. Here, the language test, what is accepted is either English or French you need to have. So these are the agencies who can conduct exam for English. And when you're giving English, if it is CELPIP, it is CELPIP General Test. Remember this. If it is IELTS, it is IELTS General Training. And if it is PTE Core, it is PTE Core for English. Similarly, for French, these are the 2 agencies. So remember to make the correct selection. For example, here it says we don't accept IELTS 1 skill retake for expressing. So make sure it is IELTS General Test General Trainee option. So getting dates are also not easy. This is the example of CELPIP. I have selected the geography, and you see getting dates are also not easy, and you will have to keep this in factor when you're preparing for the exam. Again, there is a cost associated, so you will have to spend close to $280 for CELPIP. And if you go for IELTS, it is IELTS General Training, which you'll have to select. And again, based on your geography, you will see cost associated. So here, when I go and select the dates, you see the earliest date what I see is 1st of September, that is after 2 weeks. This is the earliest. You again need time to prepare. There is a cost associated. What you can see here, you can see which one you want to go and give exam for. And in some cases, people get the desired score, and in some cases, people have to repeat. Keep that thing in factor, as you might end up spending more on this part. Now coming to the language test score part, you see here, depending on the immigration program, if it is federal skilled worker program, skilled trade program, Canadian experience class program, you will make the selection. For example, once you make the selection here, you get to choose the language test what you take. For example, let me select IELTS. You can go and do others at your time. So here, this point system is clearly mentioned. So here it says 24 point, and point per ability, it shows 4, which means if you're getting a CLB 7 for IELTS exam, that is in speaking you get 6, listening you get 6, reading you get 6, and writing you get 6 minimum, then you get 4 points for each ability. So 4 into 4 will be 16. Similarly, if you get a CLB 8, which is speaking 6.5, listening 7.5, reading 6.5, and writing 6.5, then for each of these ability you get 5 points, which will be 5 into 4, 20. And then you see if you get a CLB level of 9, 10 or above, the point per ability is 6. So if you get this CLB 9, you get the highest point, that is 24, what is required here. In addition, if you have a second language, 4 additional point might be given to you if you get the required test result. So all this test result and how it is calculated, it is given here. It's simple. So once you have test result in hand, you will be able to fill that section, which we will go now. So assuming you have your language test result, we'll go back. So we are here and we will choose the language test which we have given and then go next. Here, select the year. So as I said, it has to be valid for 2 years, the month when it is given, and then once this is selected, you click next. And here you will enter the score. So again, point what you get will determine whether you make it to express entry or not. I showed you the table here. Once the entry is made, all entries are made, and then click next. Do you have other language result? In my case, I will select none. If you have any other language, so if it is English, the second language will have to be French, that is TEF or TCF. You cannot have 2 English tests to show here. So once you make that selection, either TEF or TCF or none, you click next. This section is based on your work experience. Here, in the last 3 years, how many years of skilled work experience do you have in Canada? So what is the skilled work experience? In Canada, the National Occupation Classification, NOC, is the official list of all jobs in Canadian labor market. So each of the job, they have been assigned a code, and you will need to know NOC code and tier for your current job, your primary occupation, any other job that you have done, any job offer you have for a job in Canada. So how to find? You can come and click here, and here this is the entire list which is given, and each of these category have been named. For example, if it is a management occupation, it is called TEERO or 0. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see this entirely, and you can also see the full list of occupation under NOC 2021 here by coming to this page. For example, you want to find out project manager, okay, and then click search. So you get this entire list, and each list has the occupation category, what that is, and the matching job title. So you'll have to go and see where you fit in and what your job role and description matches with, and accordingly choose it. For example, if you are in IT, then you will go and see if any one of these makes sense. So this part you will have to do it. I had made a video long back on how to see the NOC part. I'll share the link in the description. Again, you will have to do your due diligence here. One thing you also need to know is how this comprehensive ranking system criteria is established. So depending on various factors, age, level of education, official language proficiency, and then the Canadian work experience. These are the points associated with this. So age, I'll show you the age criteria. Once you come down here, okay, you see here, age is given, and if you are of a particular age, how much point you straight away get, that is given here clearly. If you have age of 20 to 29, you get maximum point. If you're coming with a partner, or if you're not coming with a partner, you get a maximum point of 110. So after this, you see, for each year gained, you start losing point. So this you can go and check at your own time. Likewise, level of education. So this is the level of education point system. So again, you see here, the higher your education is, the higher your point is. So all this thing will get added as you keep answering your question. So you can come and see this at your own time. I'll not go much in detail. This is the entire point system. You will be able to compare and see where you can increase your point. Again, for the work experience, here it is clearly defined. It has to be in the same type of job for which you are selecting NOC as the primary occupation. You must have obtained within the last 10 years in Canada or abroad. Be paid work. You must have been paid wages or earned commission. Volunteer work or unpaid internship don't count. Then be at least 1 year of continuous work or 1560 hours, that is 30 hours per week. This has to be met. So here they've also given how this criteria can be in few different ways. If it is a full-time job at one job, 30 hours per week for 12 months. That is 1 year full-time is 1560 hours. Or equal amount in part-time work, for example, 15 hours per week for 24 months. So if you have been working part-time, 15 hours per week is counted. Whatever length of work you work, if it is part-time, they will only calculate 15 hours per week. And when you complete 2 years, that will be counted as 1 year full-time. So that makes it 1560 hours. Again, you can work as many as part-time job as you need to meet this requirement. Full-time at more than one job, 30 hours per week for 12 months. At more than one job, 1 year full-time, that is 1560 hours. Again, for the part-time, details are given here, and we don't count any hours you work above 30 hours per week. If your company makes you work 50 hours, you cannot add that here when it comes to the calculation. So maximum is 30 hours. So you can read this part. Coming here, make the selection. I'm selecting 1 year or more. And then if you do not have any Canadian work experience during this period, please choose none of the above. If you know your category, I just showed the NOC part. From there, you go and see what category you are. If you have Canadian work experience, and make that selection. If not, just select none of the above. And then click next. In the last 10 years, how many years of skilled work experience do you have? It must have been continuous, paid full-time or equal amount in part-time and in only one occupation. So any one occupation what you select, you'll have to make the selection here. So depending on what your selection is, you go to the next section. In last 5 years, do you have at least 2 years of experience in one of the following qualified trade occupation? That is 5-digit code that include occupation code 62200 and occupation code beginning with 72, 73, 82, 83, 92, 93 and 6320. Exception occupation beginning with 726 or 932. What these are? So again, the link will be there in the description. Once you come here, you see the numbers, what was shown there. This is how the codes are, and you can go and check these codes from the list. I'm selecting none here, no experience in these codes, and click next. How much money in Canadian dollar will you bring to Canada? So this is the selection you will have to make, one of the selection, and the family size. So here you see how much money you need. Again, depends on the family size. This is the list. It says if you are one person, you need to have minimum this much. If you're 2 people, you need to have this much. If you're 3, you need to have this much. If you're 7, you need to bring this much. And if you are more than 7 people, for each additional family member, you will add this on top of this number. So right now, just go and select the money what you have. You can do the currency conversion and make sure you're keeping some factor and then based on what you have, you make that selection. For example, for a 2 family member, I'm selecting this as an option and clicking next. Do you have a valid job offer in Canada? My response is no. Next. Date of birth. Again, as I said, year of birth carries weightage in terms of points. So enter the year of birth, month, and then select the date. Once this is done, the next part is what is the highest level of education for which you have earned Canadian degree, diploma or certificate, or have education credential assessment. ECA must be from an approved agency in last 5 years. So if you have studied in Canada, you know what that equivalent is. If you have studied outside, so you'll have to go through an education credential assessment. That is basically, if you have a degree, you will send the document to this agency. I'll show you the list and they will say what your degree is equivalent. So if it is equivalent to a degree, they will mention that. If your post-graduation is equivalent to a post-graduation, that will be mentioned. If your post-graduation is equivalent to degree, that will be mentioned. These are all the designated organizations where you can send your document and get the credential assessment done. Again, this list keeps updating. So always come to this link and check which all organizations are active. So when I came, I got my education credential done through World Education Service. So basically what I had to do was I had to go to the university and ask for the transcript. Again, took almost, I don't remember exactly, 4 to 6 weeks for the university to prepare the transcript, and then they would send directly to the agency. So once the agency receives, they would take another 4 to 6 weeks to assess the credential. In all, you can say it will, in straight line method also, at least you would need 3 months to 5 months to get this everything done. So you need to have this in hand when you do your express entry profile. I mean, there is cost involved. That is, if you're reaching out to your university, they may have some prescribed fee, get your transcript, and then any of these agencies, for example, World Education Service, based on what you're getting evaluation done for, again, will have some cost. So once you go and, get the evaluation done, and you have your documents ready, you will be able to come and fill. So based on the credential what you get, you will go and fill the detail. For example, I am selecting here the equivalent what they give and then click next. Then on this section, you check all that applies. I have studied full-time in Canada for 2 years. If it is not, you just leave as it is. I have at least 1 year of full experience in Canada. The job must have been in these 3. Again, I'm keeping unchecked. I have relative in Canada who is 18-year-old citizen or permanent resident in Canada and is my parent, children, grandparent, grandchild, sibling, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew. I'm keeping this also as it is and then selecting none of the above. So click next. Marital status, married, click next. Does your spouse or partner plan to come with you to Canada? Selecting yes. Is your spouse or partner a citizen or permanent resident of Canada? No. Next. Has your spouse or partner studied in Canada full-time? No. Has your spouse or partner worked in Canada full-time for 1 year or more? No. So you make the selection based on your circumstances and then click next. Has your spouse or partner taken any English or French language test? In my case, I select IELTS. Next. Then enter the year, the date. Click next and then enter the test score based on what was got. So once the test scores are entered, come down and click next. And then the result shows based on your answer, you appear to be eligible for express entry. Step 1 and step 2 both are shown tick and then continue.